Standard 9. Supplementary. Lesson number 3. Ishwaran, the storyteller. This is a lesson about a person who used to tell a story, who used to write a story, and his stories are famous. But how he wrote the story, which kind of stories he told everyone, we will see in this lesson. The story was narrated to Ganesh by a young man. It means the writer or the story writer name is Ganesh. And who was a young man? Who was a young person? Mahendra by name. He was a junior supervisor in a field which offered a higher supervisor at various types of construction sites. What is his position? So his position is he was a higher supervisor in a field and he worked in various construction sites like factories, bridge, dam, whatever are constructed, he worked there. Mahendra's job was keep an eye on the activities of the work site. He had to keep moving from one place to place every now and then. He worked now and then, it means oftenly, it is an idiom. Now and then it means oftenly. Because of his work, he has to move oftenly, he has to go oftenly somewhere, as ordered by his head office. From a coal mining area to a railway bridge construction site. From there, after a few months, to a chemical plant, which was coming up somewhere. He has to build a chemical plant. It was out of the station and he has to stay there because the construction was going by. He was a bachelor. It means he did not marry. He was a single person. Bachelor means who did not marry yet. His needs were simple and he was able to adjust himself to all kinds of old conditions. He was bachelor, so he can manage in every kind of condition. So it is a third year also, a bachelor can adjust. Whether it was an ill-equipped circuit house or the makeshift canvas stand in the middle of the stone quay, he can manage in everywhere, whatever give to him as a food, whatever give to him as to stay there, he can manage that. But one excess he had was his cook, Ishwaran. He always carried a cook with him whenever he went, and the name of the cook is Ishwaran. It means the owner name is Mahendra and his cook name is Ishwaran. The cook was quietly attached with Mahendra and followed him uncomplainingly whenever he was posted. He has to shifted oftenly, but the Ishwaran always go with him, always went with him and without complaint. He cooked for Mahendra, washed his clothes and carried away with his master at night. The whole day he worked the household work and at night he talked with his master. He could bring out endless stories and analogues. Analogues means it is called in Gujarati Kissa. The incidents on various subjects. He could tell stories as well as evidence and incidental story. Ishwaran also had an amazing capacity to produce vegetables and cooking ingredients, seemingly out of nowhere in the middle of the desolate landscape, with no shop visible for miles around. The place where they lived now, the place is out of a town where Nobody can buy anything, there is no shop. But Ishwaran has a capacity to grow vegetable in that side only. So he grow vegetable, and whatever vegetable cultivated in his area, he cooked it. He was miraculously conjured up the most delicious dishes made with fresh vegetables. Within an hour of arriving, the zinc set up at the new workplace. Mahendra would be up early in the morning and leave for work after breakfast. He woke up early, then after he did his breakfast and leave for the office. Carrying some prepared food with him, he also take out a tiffin with him. Meanwhile, Ishwaran would tidy up the set, wash the clothes, and have a laser bath, pouring several buckets of water over his head. Muttering a prayer all the while. When till he take bath, he muttered the prayer. It would be lunchtime. By then, after eating, he would read for a while before dozing off. The book was usually some popular Tamil thriller running to hundreds of pages. Its imaginary description and narrative flourish would hold Ishwaran in thought. His own descriptions were greatly launched by Tamil author that he read. He read the Tamil author's stories and incidents. So, the influence of Tamil authors were impact on him. When he was narrating even the smallest of incidents, he would try to work in suspense and surprise. It was a suspenseful as well as surprise for him. And we need to account. For example, instead of saying that he had come across a fruited tree on the highway, he would say, with eyebrow sharply arched and hands held into a dramatic gesture. The road was desert and I was alone. At that time, he told the story with the old woman, and he put his hand upside her head and said that the road was deserted and I was alone. And he spoke like that old person went into the imaginative suspect that busy beats, laying sprouts across the road. I was half inclined to turn and go back. But as I got closer, I saw that it was a fallen tree, with its dry branches spread out. Mahendra would stretch himself back into a vast chair and listen to Ishwaran's tales uncritically. At that time, Mahendra listened his all the talks without speaking a word uncriticized. It means he did not criticize even his words. The place had come from his famous kingdom. Ishwaran would begin. Now he go ahead with his story. There is a rich wood forest all around. The long segments of wood, held on the lorries by elephant. They are huge, well-fed gates. When they turn wild, even the most experienced Mahabharat, who carried the elephant, the person is called Mahabharat, is not able to control them. After this prologue, Ishwaran would launch into an elaborate anecdote involving an elephant. Now, he told about the incident of elephant, how the elephant took the rope and how the Mahabharat with him. One day, a tusker escaped from the timber yard and began to roam about. Roam it means a wander. To go here and there without intents. It is called roam. Stamping on buses, tearing up wild creepers, and breaking branches at will. You know, sir, how an elephant behaves goes mad. Ishwaran would get so caught up in the excitement of his own story that he would get up from the floor and jump about stamping his feet in emulation of the mad elephant. There was an imaginary pocket. The elephant reached the outskirts of the town, breaking up the fence down like matchsticks. He would continue. It came into the main road and smashed all the stall sells fruits, mudboard, clothes, every vendor who was sitting there on the footpath sell assorted things. People run helter-skelter in panic. The elephant went into that area and gets by the vendor who are selling their things, who are coming in panic situation and they wander here and there. They go out here and there. The elephant now entered in a school ground where children were playing, breaking through brick wall. All the boys went into the classroom and shut the doors tight. After went on the footpath, the elephant went into a school where school children also stayed out picking, and that's why they go here and there. The boys went into the class and shut the door. The beast ran and wandered about, pulling out the football goalpost, tearing down the volleyball net, kicking the metric drum, kept off border. He told everything. The elephant told everything. And approaching his class. Meanwhile, all the teachers had climbed up the terrace of the school building. From there, they helplessly watched the depression of the elephant. There was no soil below on the ground. The streets were empty, as if inhabitants. The streets are so empty that we can assume that there is no person living there, nobody living there. They are so inhabitants of the entire town and suddenly disappeared. All the persons are disappeared at anywhere whenever they found a place they went to touch that. The teachers even climbed up the terrace. I was studying in junior class at that time and was watching the world drama of the rooftop. I don't know what came over me suddenly. I grabbed a pen from the hands of one of the teachers, ran down the stairs into the open. The elephant grunted and mechanically sprang on a branch of a tree, which had in its trunk. It stamped on his feet, kicking up a load of mud and dust. In the leg of the elephant, there was a load of dust, mud, everything was there. It looked seductive, but I moved slowly towards it. Stick in hand, people were watching on the screen, hypnotized. People were so surprised at that time, so shocked at that time, they looked as they hypnotized. They cannot move, their eyes cannot move even. From nearby the house tops, the elephant looked at me red-eyed, the anger that be shown with the elephant's eye because it was red color. Ready to rush toward me, it lifted its trunk and trumpeted loudly. He spoke. At that moment, I moved forward and mustering all my thoughts. Where it is, third total on the week. The beast looked stunned for a moment. Then it shivered from the head to foot and pulsed. It was pulsed at that time. At this point, Ishwaran could leave the story unfinished. He incompleted the story that and get up mumbling, I will be back after writing this and calming of the river. Mahendra, who had been listened with the rapt attention, would be left hanging. When he returned, Ishwaran would not pick up the thread of the story right away. Mahendra would have remained with the conclusion was pending. Well, a veterinary doctor was summoned to revive the animal. There was no thread of the story at that time. Ishwaran looked struck casually. 2 days later, it was led away by its Mahavat to the jungle. At that time, the animal doctor came and the Mahavat take out the elephant into the jungle again. Well, how did you manage to do it, Ishwaran? How did you bring down the beast? It has something to do with the Japanese art. I think so. I managed the elephant with the Japanese art, karate, or jujutsu, it is called. I had read about it somewhere. It is temporarily paralyzed the nervous system, you see. At that time, he just posted out that it is the Japanese art, and with the Japanese art, I controlled the elephant. It has something to do with the Japanese art. Not a day passed out without Ishwaran recounting some stories packed with adventure, horror, or suspense. Whether the story was credible or not, Mahendra enjoyed listening to it because of the inimitable way in which it was told. It was told with an inimitable, imaginative way that every person go into the imaginative. Ishwaran seemed to the more than make up the actions of a TV in Mahendra's living room. One morning when Mahendra was having breakfast, Ishwaran asked, "Can I make something special for dinner tonight, sir? After all, today is a occupied day, it is a holiday, Pavitra. According to tradition, we prepare various delicious to feed the spirit of the youngsters today. Today is the day when we have to feed our youngsters and spirits who are dead. Tonight, Mahendra enjoyed the most delicious dinner and complimented Ishwaran to the culinary skill. He seemed rather pleased, but unexpectedly launched into the most garish account involving the supernatural. You know, sir, this entire factory area, we are occupying was once a brilliant ground. He started. Mahendra was jerked out the pleasant retire he had prepared into after the satisfying meal. He got the satisfying meal and that's why he did not speak a single word at that time. I knew on the very first day itself when I saw a human skull lying on the path. Even now I come across number of skulls and bones. Ishwaran continued. We keep our story in that. What will happen with the skull